Hey everyone, what's going on? It's BradPhusion here, and welcome to a discussion video about the latest update for Space Enemies. I didn't get a chance to do a basic overview for said update, but I can give you guys a quick brief run through right now. The update mainly consisted of two things and a bunch of bug fixes. The two things were a large ship grinder and the ability to change the power and effectiveness of gyroscopes. So if you have like really small ships, it would turn a little bit slower if you have it on a lower percentage, which is great because, like I said, if you make a small ship in this game, even just with one gyroscope, the thing starts spinning crazily fast, and I was kind of wondering if there's some way to remedy that, but it seems like they've now given you the chance to actually do that. The other thing, however, is the large ship grinder. Now, in theory and in title, this sounds like it would be quite an effective tool to use. However, there's a few things I don't like about it. So over here you guys can see the grinder, which has a few conveyor ports as well as normal ports that you can access on itself. It has a 2.5 thousand liters. I kept thinking, I don't know why I wasn't sure about what that was called for a second there, it was a mental blank. But yeah, 2.5 thousand liters or 2,500 liters capacity, and you can actually connect it to a conveyor system that can put it into a storage container if you feel you need to. Now over here I have a pretty small ship with a little grinder on the front of it, just to show you how exactly the grinder works. So we will fly up towards it quite slowly as we can, and I will activate the grinder when we get close enough to it. Now the metal might warp it, no it doesn't. Okay, so here I'm going to turn it on and get out really quickly. So another thing you can do, like I said, is you can turn it on here. So let me get out here and let's actually watch this thing go really quickly. So there we go, we can see it grinding away. Now there's a few things I don't like about this, and you'll see that in a few seconds. There we go. So it affects an area around it. Now you might be thinking, well, why is that a silly thing? It's not very much a silly thing, as it is kind of unrealistic. Now this game goes after realism as best as it can, at least as best as they can for a game. So I don't really think an area of effect would be very good for something that looks so precise. I would much rather speed over an area of effect status. The second thing is it doesn't seem to actually put anything inside the in the cargo containers. It doesn't even seem to put anything inside here either. However, as you guys see, when I highlight over it says any item produced by the assembler. Assembler? Why would this thing need an assembler? So it seems like that it's actually bugged out in the sense that anything it grinds away from here won't actually go inside the grinder because it isn't actually coming from the assembler. But at the same time, that might just be a title thing, because anything that can be produced by an assembler is basically a material used for building, and then anything that the grinder will produce would be the same category, so it should in fact actually go in here. However, it doesn't, but that might be because I am in creative and not in survival, so that makes perfect sense to me, so that's okay. That I can understand that in itself. However, the one thing I don't like is its actual speed. It is, and I've tested it, it is actually a lot slower than the hand grinder. And I don't know, there's just something about this that I don't really like all too much, and that's why this is a discussion video, because I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well. So I'm actually parking here, and hopefully I can show you guys how effective this thing actually is, or how big its actual radius is. And I'm hoping it'll be a 3x3x2, and the 2 being the depth here, when it actually gets to the point of grinding it down. Now, whilst it's doing its thing, I will do my own thing with a hand drill here. And as you guys can see, it's slowly starting to take away the outside bits here. But I'm just going to go over here and disassemble this little bit myself. Now, another downside to using the grinder for a ship is that you don't get this little tooltip that you see down the bottom right there with its percentage as well. And there you go. I've actually grinded through one block, and this thing is still grinding through its whole blocks here. Now, I'm thinking that maybe the speed is kind of stretched out over more blocks. So the more blocks you have, the slower it actually is. So for the sake of testing that out, I will also put this here and then just stick a grinder against it to see whether or not it will actually work in that way. So did this thing actually stop grinding? It stopped grinding for a second, but nonetheless you guys can see that it isn't actually taking going too quickly. So let me go up here really quick And let's see if this actually goes any faster if it's just going up against one block. So I think it is actually going reasonably fast against one block, I guess as fast as the hand grinder is itself. However, the more blocks you have, the slower it goes, and that's something I don't really like about this thing. Like I said, I would much prefer it to be just affecting one block regardless of where it is, so it doesn't do this thing here, but it is a lot quicker than the hand grinder is itself. I mean, look at those damn blades, look how huge they are. They're massive. They should be able to tear this thing apart in seconds, but instead it goes at the same speed as this little thing here. So nonetheless, whilst I like the fact that there is a grinder now available for ships, be it that it's only available for large ships when I would actually prefer it to be on smaller ships, it's nice that they're going that direction where we can actually have more ship tools available other than just drills. So I'm hoping that in the next few weeks we're going to be getting this grinder here available for small ships, as well as even a welding tool. I believe a welding tool was actually being discussed a while ago, so it is nice to see that the developers going in such a way that they are actually listening to what the community says and suggests. So like I said, whilst this is a cool addition, I find it very impractical, with one being the fact that it's limited to large ships only, which are quite bulky in themselves, and the fact that it is rather slow in comparison to the hand grinder, and very imprecise with the fact that it affects something like this if you only wanted to get rid of a few small blocks at a time. So what can this thing actually be used for? Now, I've tried it on a small ship, and you guys can see it right here as well. Well, obviously it'll blah 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 blah. It'll drag a little bit, and the ship will be flung around. So in that sense, it's not very great. I've tried launching it through a gravity cannon to see how much damage it actually does against a station or a ship, and I'll show you guys that right now, just for the sake of showing you guys. It explodes. I mean, I didn't expect anything special to happen, but I admit it does do a fair amount of damage, but I'm kind of expecting that to be simply because that didn't happen before. It blew up last time. Well, we've just created an FTL drive, people. Congratulations. Round of applause. Yay. I don't know why that did that then. That was a little bit weird, but kind of cool at the same time. Yeah, okay. I was actually expecting that to explode. Do I still have one of my copy paste? No, I don't. Oh well. That was going to explode, and it was actually meant to explode on this side and explode on the other side as well, and kind of make a huge hole going right through. But nonetheless, since that decided to F off into outer space, I'll show you guys another thing that you could probably use it for that might be a little bit more entertaining for you guys. So here I have a pit of grinders. Now I'm going to attach a few artificial masses to this ship here to kind of drag it down slowly into said pit of doom. So let me turn this off over here, just so I don't get all the gravity pulling the ship to the side. There we go. And on that note, actually, since I'm still here, and there's a weird bug as well, that occasionally, if you go to press either 0 or your tittle key to unequip what you have in your hands, it'll still remain there for whatever reason. So I think if I go in here, actually no, if I unequipped, get in and then get out, yeah, as you guys can see, even though down the bottom it says I've got 0 equipped, if I press the tittle key as much as I want right now, it doesn't get rid of whatever's in my hand unless I press any of the number keys and then go back again, and it's gone. But let me get back to what I was saying here. And if I actually turn this on, you guys can actually hear at least what I believe to be the gravity generators emitting a sound. So I'll be quiet for a few seconds so you guys can hear this. Very interesting, because I didn't think they actually emitted a sound. At least I don't remember them ever emitting a sound in the past. So that is a very cool little addition there. So let me go over here and let me stick little poor ship, this little teeny tiny ship, above the pit of doom before turning on any sort of gravity. So we'll stick one over here, we'll stick one over here, stick one on top because why not, and maybe one at the front here and here, just to kind of weigh it down very evenly. And let's stick this above the pit, and I'll end the video by this slowly getting deconstructed. So, like I said, this is an interesting thing you can do with it. It's probably the most fun I've had with these grinders. But I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the grinders themselves? Do you find them effective, and what are your thoughts on it? Do you guys agree with me or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments section down below. And goodbye, little ship. You're ever so effective. You know, it would help if I actually turned the grinders on. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. God damn it. And that was going to be like a really, really cool outro too. Well, everyone makes mistakes, I guess. So let me just stick down a cockpit here really, really quickly. I don't know, Brad, stick down a cockpit. There we go. And let me turn all these on one by one. Sorry about that. That was a very awkward and anticlimactic exit to said video. So let me just turn all these on here. Okay, there we go. So as I said, let me know in the comment section down below with what you guys think about the grinders and your personal experiences with them. And yet again, goodbye, little ship. That is actually kind of cool, I have to admit. Because they have the area of effect thing, they actually extend up to the top parts of this as well, making it kind of cool and kind of interesting. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. Let me know what you think of the grinders. And actually, before I leave, I did do a Arma 3 mission, or an Arma 3 operation the other day with the SOCOM group that I am now a part of. And the mission itself went for 3 hours. Now, I did record all of said mission, and I was wondering whether or not you guys would actually sit through and watch, maybe if I edited it down to 2 hours or so, because that'll be quite a big upload, and I don't want to waste my time really too much if you guys aren't too interested in watching said mission. It was very, very fun, and I will actually show you guys a few screenshots at the end of this video of what the mission actually looked like itself, so you guys get a fair idea about what exactly was going on. I had a lot of fun with it, and the radio system was very, very awesome. It was very, very realistic, and like I said, I had a really great time with the group for my first actual operation. So anyways, like I said, I'll leave this here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Stay awesome, everyone.
Say again?
Am I safe on the east?
Roger that, you should be. We inserted from that direction earlier. We should be fine.
Yep. Cool.
Just, I'll let you know when you're safe to roll out.
Yep. Come on, fan, come for a ride.
Pilot wants them.
Okay, go.
Spanko set.
1-0's in the air as well.
I'll be dusting off east.
Just flew over the friggin' objectives. Guys, start pushing up the hill. Google's let Charlie know that we're assaulting now and they're cleared open fire.
1-3 Charlie, this is 1-2 Bravo, over.
Let's go, right up the hill.
John, I want you on my right hand side. I need you on my right hand side, Brad, to the left. We'll use HE, we'll probably throw grenades into the buildings to clear that. I'm not going to care too much in regards to civilians if they're in a
1-3 Charlie, this is 1-2 Bravo, over.